Well, good morning. Welcome to my camp. I got the coffee on, so if you like to have a cup of coffee, come on and join me, and I'll tell you a little bit about a new gun I built. Now, I finished this piece here quite a while back already, but I've never shot it because I was waiting on y'all to join me. So, what I've got here is an early English trade gun, a Wilson trade gun, from about the 1740s period, definitely prior to what we know as the French and Indian War. This gun was built by Richard Wilson, by his gun shop, and he was a purveyor of trade guns to the colonies for, from the 1720s up until I believe it was 1751, when he retired and turned the shop over to his son. But as I say, this style of gun comes from the 1740s, and it's a little different than the normal English trade gun. Up until that time, they had been building the guns as cheap as they could, and the Indians had come to prefer the French fusil de chasse, which was, they believed, a higher quality gun. So what the English makers, including Wilson, started to do was they changed the stock architecture a little bit and went from the straight English butt to the more curved Roman nose style French butt. And this is the result. This is a Chiefs grade gun, and this is from a K-Wood kit, and it has the more as I say, more Roman nose stock, the French style butt plate, which is more curved, where the English had just been using flat brass, as we commonly know on the Northwest gun, which they went back to after a while. But they use this French butt plate, and that's pretty much the biggest difference in these guns. As I say, this is a Chiefs grade. It has engraving on the finial of the butt plate. It does have the serpent side plate, or dragon side plate as some call it, a big trigger bow, and a nice round-faced English lock. Now, Wilson did improve the locks. He went to an internal bridle on the lock, and it was a much nicer functioning lock. This particular gun is a 62 caliber, or 20 gauge, as we commonly call them today. I've added the sling swivel on the fore end and the sling button on the buttstock, so I can add a sling. And as of yet, I have not shot this gun. So I think we'll go shoot it a little bit this morning and see if it'll actually function. Now, I chose to go with the cold blue on this gun, as browning had not yet come into vogue so much. So they were still bluing guns, and I came out with a nice dark gray color on the barrel, which is exactly what I was shooting for. It's a nice finish on the barrel and lock and trigger bow, and all the iron parts on this gun. Of course, it does have a brass butt plate and the brass ramrod thimbles and the brass side plate. So that's about it on the Wilson gun. There is a nice original gun very similar to this, built by Wilson, and that is in the Museum of the Fur Trade in Chadron, Nebraska. Now, I can't recommend any higher museum than that one, and also the Museum of the Mountain Man in Pinedale, Wyoming. So if you'd like to take a vacation and go see some good trade guns, the Museum of the Fur Trade has, I believe, the biggest collection of trade guns in existence. So go check it out. And as I said, there is... Sorry, my camera shut off. Had to turn it back on. So, as I was saying, there is a nice original Wilson trade gun in the Museum of the Fur Trade in Chadron, Nebraska, and I highly encourage y'all to go up there and take a look at that museum. And again, I think I might have just said this, but I believe they have the largest collection of trade guns in existence. So take a vacation, go out to Chadron, see the Museum of the Fur Trade, and then head on over to Pinedale, Wyoming, in God's country, and see the Museum of the Mountain Man. I think that's about it. Again, this has got a 62 caliber barrel. The barrel measures, I believe, about 41 5/8 inches. The gun is very light, handy, even though it's got a longer barrel, and I'm really anxious to shoot this gun. So having said all that, let's drink a little bit of coffee, and then we'll step over here where I've got some targets set up, and we will see if this gun shoots. If it blows up in my face, then you probably won't see this video. So I don't believe it's going to do that. It's a high quality gun, a high quality kit, and it went together very well, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend the K-Wood kits to anybody. So let's drink some coffee and go do some shooting. Okay, I'm out here a good 25 paces from the target. I've got a paper target set up below the white gong, and so we're going to take some shots here. I'm going to first load up with, I'm using an 80 grain measure, and I'm going to load up with 610 round ball. Now I'm going to try and use my standard wasp nest this morning, but it's getting a little dry, so I'll probably switch to regular square paper, brown paper wads that I'll be using. So here we go. I'll be loading from the horn and priming from the same horn. So I've already checked the bore and I know it's clear. That's 80 grains of 2F GoX. Powder's getting mighty expensive, so as soon as I get some proper charcoal made, I've got everything else rounded up, and I'm going to start making my own powder. So I've got 80 grains of 2F, got the ball down, yeah, like I said, my wasp nest is dried out. I'll be harvesting some new wasp nests real soon, but in the meantime, we'll just use brown paper wad. Bring it back to half cock. Run the vent pick in. prime and charge. I can see that from here. That's in the black at about 630 position, but just barely in the black. This is a smoothbore Fowler trade gun. Does not have a rear sight, so you have to learn how to hold. Load up with another ball here. And I think we'll aim at that big gong. See if we can hit it. It's always more exciting shooting at a gong than at paper. Well, that was fun. Okay. After several camera malfunctions this morning and missing video of 3 shots, I went back to the house and I finally figured out that there was something wrong with the SD card that I had already been recording on all morning. I got most of it, but the last 3 shots I did not get. So I replaced the SD card, put a fresh battery in, and I think we're going to make it through this. I do need to get a new camera. I'm videoing with a Nikon DSLR camera that just happens to have a video function that it's not a great video camera. So one of these days maybe I can scrounge up enough work to get enough buckskins to trade for a real video camera. That remains to be seen. Anyway, here are the 2 shots, round ball shots that I put on paper. The 9 ring and the 8 ring, so I'm pretty happy with that. Still have to learn, how to hold with this gun at different ranges. I'd like to be able to shoot round ball out to 50 yards in order to hunt with it, but that'll just take some practice. So I went back and refilled my powder horn. I'm charged up with shot, so we're going to load up and shoot a couple of rounds of shot. Since this is a 62 caliber smoothbore trade gun, we have no problem shooting shot, round ball, bucking ball. Could even, if I had to, in a pinch, load up some gravel or something and shoot that, but that'd probably scratch up the inside of the barrel, so we're not going to try that. Anyway, let's load her up and see what we can do. I'm shooting number 4 shot this morning, and I always use the same measure for powder and shot both. I think that's probably the way they did it, best I can tell, on the frontier back in the old days. What I am doing this morning is I'm again cheating a little bit, and I've already got my shot pre-measured. I've got these little brass chargers given to me many years ago by my old compañero Gary Cut Fingers Peterson, and I've got my number 4 shot pre-measured in here, and all I have to do is dump it down the bore. Now what I didn't do just now, since I'm not that much of a smooth bore shooter, I forgot to put a wad over the powder, so this shot may not turn out too good. Not sure they always did that on the frontier either. I always like to run a vent pick in my touch hole. See what happens. I'll walk up there and get the target and show it to you. Yeah, I'm not too happy with that. Got enough coverage over here to kill a turkey, but it should have been right in here. That could be due to not having a wad over the powder. Let's load it up and try it again. One last time. This puppy kicks a little more than my Colonial Fowler does, using the same load. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but there's about 18 pellets in the black, so I think I would have killed a turkey. I'll keep working on that, practicing with it, and I'll probably use this gun for at least one turkey this year. Well, that's it. That is the Wilson early trade gun with the French Roman nose stock and butt plate. .62 caliber /20 gauge. Shoots really well. Thanks for joining me, and I will be back next time I have something interesting to shoot. Oh, one last thing. Keep your flint sharp, your priming dry, stay free.